What up, everybody, and welcome to Creeps of the Crypt, episode 10. I'm your host, John, along with my co-host, Other Alan.
Hey, big ups, guys. Welcome. We're back again.
I think you were going to say Other Alan. I said it for you, so.
Well, you already said it, so I thought it was redundant.
Yeah. So, all in all, it's been a long time since we've actually done this episode, since we've recorded, because I don't know if you guys know this or not, we record in advance, and we recorded so many episodes that we took like a month that we did not go back and record. We were like, we still even have now. We have episodes till next month still in advance. So I don't know if we
we're that prepared.
I don't know if we should change it up and just start doing as a weekly podcast since we're bi-weekly, because people don't really stay tuned to a bi-weekly podcast. So we might switch it up. We might become a weekly podcast sometime in the future, or maybe now we're a weekly. I don't know. We don't know.
I'd say for the two fans out there, give us a feedback. Let us
There's
know
a few
what you think
people.
of that idea.
There's a few people, but it's true. Yeah, I'm not. I don't know if we should do weekly because the numbers go down. Obviously, but who knows? It's a guessing game, I guess. Whenever. Hold on.
Yeah, I guess I could say whatever ends up being the best decision you think would work. I mean, we've talked about it before, and your idea originally was to, pump these out a little bit in advance, and I think it's a good strategy. Sometimes a lot of people put out stuff one by one. I think getting a good amount cranked out ahead of time always works out.
Yeah, but bi-weekly thing. The bi-weekly thing really took me by surprise because I was like, I have them uploaded after we record, I edit them and I have them ready, and then I was like, oh my god. I was like, oh my god, this is going all the way till September. Are you serious? But anyway, how you've been besides this?
I've been good. Just been keeping busy. I was telling you before, I was messing around with OBS. It's just like a streaming program out there for the folks that may not know what that OBS is, and trying to look into doing a little bit more gaming streams online. So just been messing around with the layouts and potential designs to look into. But other than that, been pretty good. I hadn't gotten a chance to see any of those movies that came out recently in the last 3 weeks. I didn't see Mission Impossible yet. I didn't see Barbie. Nor that I really want to, but just out of curiosity. And then Oppenheimer. But you got to see some that you'll probably be talking about soon, right?
Well, I didn't see I saw parts of Oppenheimer, and I was like, and then I'm not gonna see Barbie. I want to go see the movie Talk to Me, because it's the guys who from Raka Raka, the guys who do the McDonald's the wrestling, all the crazy videos they used to do a lot back in the day, but YouTube get strict because they use fake gore and stuff in their videos. So YouTube not put them behind the 18 or over, so they wouldn't get views anymore. But they used to get millions and millions of views. And they do the Ronald McDonald videos where Ronald McDonald wrestles and shit, or beats up people. It's funny stuff that they do. But they're the ones that are behind this movie, and it's interesting because in this movie, basically they have this hand that's a cadaver hand, and it's basically people can hold on to it for 90 seconds only and say talk to me, they become possessed by a demon. So it's pretty interesting. I want to check that movie out.
Yeah, hopefully it's good. Here's another one to another possession movie.
So anyway, listen to this. I didn't tell you, I lost 5 pounds. I know it's not much.
This is I mean, no, it's something at least.
Yeah, I had not gone
to. You've been doing something differently, or what you've been doing?
I stopped drinking soda. I stopped drinking the Snapples. I used to drink those. I forgot how big they are, but big Snapples, the biggest ones you can get for a family. I would drink.
Oh yeah, you did tell me you're hell into the Snapple. I haven't had one forever.
I would drink 3 of those a day.
I like getting the glass ones with the little fun facts on the under the bottom right.
They
You
don't
still
have
do
that anymore. No, I don't think so.
That's
They're
that's as
plastic.
far that's how old I am. That's how far back it goes.
They're all plastic now. I remember the Snapple lady. I don't know if you remember her. There was a
No, I
Snapple
don't
lady.
remember a Snapple lady.
There was a Snapple lady. And anyway.
Well, no sugar in your diet, it helps. It goes a long way, so that helps. And
the thing
if
is,
if you can reduce carbs, then that's always a plus.
yes, no bread too. I haven't eaten bread.
Yeah.
That's how I lost 5 pounds in a matter of fucking seconds, pretty much.
Yeah, that'll do it, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, just do a lot of like protein, like chicken and a lot of veggies. That'll get you a long way. That's how I did it too.
Yeah, well. So
yeah, just cutting out carbs is that's the hard part, but it does help.
The first day I had like the worst headache of my life. It was terrible, especially like because I normally have like a breakfast sandwich every morning, like a ham, egg, and cheese on a roll, right? So I would have that every single morning, or on a whole wheat toast. So either way, I've stopped eating. I cut out bread for the most part. Maybe I have like maybe one little bit something with bread a day, but that's it. But yeah, so I lost 5 pounds in a week, not that long. So that's pretty good. And then after that, we'll see. I have to go to the gym starting next week. So let's see how much I can lose. This, and you know what I noticed the most, the best part about this? I think it was a Snapple. Every time those, I don't know if those, you know, I would fall asleep all the time. I would think it was a Snapple that was making me fall asleep.
You haven't been falling asleep since you stopped drinking?
No, like every day I would fall asleep at like 3 o'clock in the afternoon or 4 o'clock. Since I stopped the Snapple, well, cut back. I shouldn't say stop. I'll drink like half a day, half of one a day. So going from 3 to 4 to half.
How big we talking? The ounces?
I don't know, but it's the big bottles, like 60. I don't know. What's the biggest Snapple they have?
Let me see. Like 16-ounce one, right?
No, 16.
I don't know. I haven't bought them forever. Or maybe like 12 or 10. I remember them being small.
Like 64 fluid ounces, I think.
Oh, the big ones like that. 60 in the plastic. Oh, yeah. Okay.
The big one.
Well, yeah. I mean, it seems like you might be having too much sugar and it causes you to crash.
It says no sugar. It says 0 sugar. But
some artificial.
Yeah, something
in there somehow, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's gonna. I hope it's not aspartame, man. You gotta cut back on that.
What?
Apparently, it causes cancer, according to the. What was it? The World Health Organization.
What is this in there?
Whoever. This is recently.
What's in it?
I don't know what's in it.
No, what'd you call? What did you say? What'd you call it? Aspartame?
Aspartame.
Aspartame. No.
Yeah.
Isn't that in
that stuff's in Diet Coke and other things.
Oh, that's nice. Anyway.
Yeah.
Thanks for.
Sorry to be a downer there, but I figured I'd let you know.
I'm editing that out.
Everybody's just gonna jump out a window. You got depressed because no, does Jeri have cancer?
Anyway.
Oh my goodness.
Let's talk about this episode. Enough with this. Let's see how long I can keep it up. I'll keep you guys updated the next time you hear this. But we'll talk about that later. But let's talk about this episode, Till Death.
Episode 4, season 2.
Yes. So tell us about this episode.
Well, the episode is about this guy named Logan that just happened to seal a deal recently on a piece of land in they never say where, but some kind of Caribbean island they live on. He owns a villa, right? And he gets his hands on that, and then he meets this chick that's hanging out at his place or a villa that they run or own, and she's got some money. So the episode is more about him trying to finagle her out of some cash, and the consequences of that. Cause and react. So that's kind of like the summary of the episode, without going that deep into what happens at the end. But we'll get to it.
Yeah, her name is.
I'd say, Margaret. Her name was
Margaret Richardson, and she's supposedly from England because she had that accent that you found attractive.
Yeah, I don't know if she's actually British or not, but I'm leaning 50-50 on it, but you know how they like to put on accents, so I like the attempt. I think that's what got me off. So
Got you off.
yeah.
What do
Well,
you?
that's might be too much, but I just that's just the mind that I was having when I was watching the episode.
Oh, you were like, oh, she's extremely hot. She's very
Well, we've been looking at a lot. I mean, this is a little side thing. Maybe it won't make the episode, but we've been appreciating, you know, Elizabeth Hurley at her age, right? You know,
Yeah.
she's British,
She's just,
and she you know she reminded me of her. They don't look alike, but she reminded me of her.
anyway, I don't even know what you said in between about the intro. You said it's about a guy and a girl. I don't know. Did you mention like he's the landowner and he meets her at this
Yeah.
party they're having at his villa, right? And then he's introduced by this other friend of his who's a doctor, and he says she's wealthy, beyond, you know, she's money from England, and then she's like a bitch. She's a snobby rich bitch, and we all know those. But you find her attractive somehow, in an English accent. But then all of a sudden
Yeah,
comes.
everything sounds better in English accent. Even like her her responses like weren't even that bad. It's just it come off
She
kind of
was-
bitchy, but like
You
it
know,
was like it was like elegantly dissing you.
I know exactly the word. It is snooty.
Snooty, yeah.
Snooty. You know,
She's snooty.
she's like, the food is so spicy. It's just so ethnic.
Oh, that was my favorite part. That was my favorite part of the whole
Yeah.
episode. She moves her, puts her eyes left and right.
Yeah, she's looking around like,
What's that?
like she cares.
That's like the funniest thing.
I
The
know.
funniest thing of this episode.
I was like, no, she has some funny facial expressions. I'm surprised because her name is Pamela Gien, I think, or she hasn't done much of anything after this.
I liked it. It definitely the whole episode feels that way. It's kind of campy, and they kind of know it. I guess the way that they wrote the character, it felt a little meta to me. It seems like, you know, they were on board of you know, understanding it's not too grounded. It's kind of a little bit feels like a, you know, B movie style.
Well, the
thing
movie.
to
This
say.
episode is directed by Chris Wallace, and
What is
he's a
this man done
special
here?
effects. He's a special effects artist. So this is like his second movie he directed. TV. That's not second directorial thing, because the first thing I think was The Fly 2, the second Fly. So he directed The Fly 2, and then he directed this. And after that, I think he only directed one
makes
other
sense.
thing. He's known for like the Gremlins. He worked on Gremlins and the Puppeteers, like, you know, the
Yeah.
special effects for that. So, you know, he directed this, and I thought he did a pretty good job. I was not liking this episode, right, because of several things. One of the main things is this episode is, we're gonna get a lot of these, which is the poison, the love potion episodes, where there's a bunch of them, right? I'm sure there's one. I think there's one with Andy McCarthy,
yeah.
where he
Yeah,
does,
that's the better version of that idea. Yeah.
yeah, when his landlord somehow gives him a potion, and that's the weirdest one. This one, at least, it makes sense.
Yeah.
I think there's another one with James Remar and Whoopi Goldberg. Is that the other one where they're in Africa too? It's like a voodoo one. I don't know if a love potion is
Yeah,
involved.
there's a trend of Tales from the Crypt episode kind of repeating you know, some ideas or concepts throughout the series. Some of them better than others. And originally, when I brought this up to you before, when I was in the process of rewatching these, you know, getting into the show, but prior to start watching them in order, that's something I picked up on and just didn't like about the episode. Originally didn't like it at all, and then rewatching it again, there's a lot of things more I've noticed and appreciated more. So, and with the director having that background, it makes sense, because especially with what goes on later on in the
it's really
episode, where
good.
the special effects goes into full throttle.
Very
There was
good.
some pretty decent stuff.
I was
yeah.
surprised. There's one part where I'm like, but that's obviously because. But I was like, but I was like, wow, this is really, really good. Right? So I was pretty amazed, especially at the end. I was like, they did a really good job hiding the person inside the mask. You know, I was like, wow, they did a great job. But anyway, so this is a first time or second time director. I'm not sure if this was. I think this might have been before. He did The Fly. I know they had to do The Fly first. They're not going to give him this unless he did something else, you know? Unless he worked with them on a lot of projects that they did. Because I don't have it. Let me see it for a second. Let me look it up.
I think he did all this stuff prior to the show, because it's IMDb saying he did The Fly in '86 and Gremlins in '84, and these other two movies I hadn't heard of. This Enemy Mine and then Virtuous City.
Virtuosity?
Some movie with Denzel in it.
That's a special makeup effect
Russell
artist?
Crowe. Yeah, he was involved in that.
Virtuosity.
Special effects.
Makeup
mainly.
effects. Virtuosity, yeah. Yes.
I never heard of that one, but yeah.
Yes,
he's worked on that stuff, and I
think
what
like
it is
Russell
right there.
Crowe's like a cyber killer, and like Denzel kills him in real life, and then he like becomes a cybernetic. I don't know. I forgot. He
Sounds
worked
like
on
a '90s movie.
Maybe he worked on Scanners, so that's a big one. That's the head blowing up. That's the best head blown up in movie history is the Scanners head explosion.
Oh yeah.
But
Crescendo.
anyway, let's get into this again. So they're at she's a bitch. They're at the villa at a dinner party, and she's a bitch. And all of a sudden, the worst actor in the world comes in, and they decided they said, let's leave this in. It's good. I'm like, I don't know if it's good, but they're like, yeah, it's good. Leave it in. He goes, Master, you got to come quick. I think I'm even doing it better than him. You have to come quick. It's emergency. Something happened. We need you. And he goes, okay, like nods at him. And then Charlie, I don't know what fucking year this is either.
No, they never make it clear at all in the episode, and I just kind of just take it for try to imagine the setting and just assume that year, but it didn't seem like it was in modern times at least. They didn't have any cell phones or anything, or land phones.
No.
I mean, I didn't see any.
Yeah, that too.
In the episode.
And it was kind of hot.
Yeah, the acting there was bad, and that was one of the downsides of this one. The main actor was not great. I think they casted somebody else. I would have enjoyed this episode, but I think he's the weak link of this one because I think Margaret, the actress that plays Margaret, does a better job.
She did it, but there's times where she's not good, and then there's times where she's good, and it's like, what was she learning on the job? Because it seems like that's what she was learning on the job, or getting better. And anyway, so he goes to the land that he owns. That's where the black guy came in. Oh, if you didn't know, sorry people, he was Jamaican or something. I don't know. Well, he's from some island in the Caribbean. So he comes and he comes and calls his master or his boss, come quick. So then the boss goes, and they go and then in the woods, and like it looks like Louisiana, but they say it's obviously an island, so it's not Louisiana. Yeah. And he goes, we tried. He fell right inside the hole. He's quicksand. He's and then he goes, okay. He thinks about it. He goes, okay, start on the other side of the property tomorrow. And you think like, shit, the guy just died. You want to try to get him out? Like, nah, just go on the other side.
That's his that's his funeral right there in that fucking quicksand.
And then this guy with his straw hat. That's the thing I'm thinking is definitely in the 1800s because there's just stereotypes. So straw hat man, he goes, but sir,
bad boss.
He grabs him, and then the white guy goes, how dare you? And then he goes, that's what it looked like when you watch it. So he goes,
it's pretty implied, yeah.
I tell you, sir, this land is no good. From here all the way to the end is all swamp, is quicksand. And the white guy's like, I don't care what it takes, just make it work. And he's like, boss, you can shake me all you want, but I'm being honest with you. It's going to take more money than gold to make this land work. And then he throws his hat on the floor, and then we get to see the quicksand, which is really just water.
It just looked like
dirt on top of
jacuzzi.
water. Yeah, like, yeah. So like, You know, I ever see that? There's a clip of a girl in a hot tub and she gets sick, and there's two other guys, and I guess she diarrheas in the hot tub. I don't know if I would leave this.
God.
And the guys just the couple jump out of the hot tub because it's gross. I think it was a big brother. It was alive or something. So anyway, he goes.
Is that the inspiration for Chocolate Rain?
I don't know. So he goes back to his party. He goes, I'm ruined. And his friend tells him, listen, that sexy piece of English ass is worth $4 million. So then he goes and he plays that, what's that thing they call it? When, I forgot, there's a book about this, about how to pick up girls, the pickup artist routine, right? Where you neg a girl, you tell her like a negative compliment, like, oh, you have such a, you have the cutest underbite I've ever seen. That's like,
all right.
What's like you're complimenting her but shitting on her at the same time. Like, you know, you have
That's
the cutest.
like.
You have
Pulling that book out.
He says, "Hello, Mrs. Robertson," and she goes, "It's Richardson," or vice versa. I don't remember. And then she goes, he goes, "Oh, I'm sorry." And then she goes, "It's funny. Everyone else seems to be able to remember my last name." And he goes, "Maybe that's just because I'm too busy, you know, wanting to bang you." And then she goes, "I don't think so, you pleb, because you are nobody. You're a piss-on. You are a property owner. I come from royalty." That's what it felt like. And then
that's great.
He
great
goes.
Description.
He goes to Aunt Viv from
Is that Aunt Viv?
I think that's Aunt Viv from the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's her. And I wanted to see her naked in this episode. I was like,
I think that the next voodoo episode, I remember somebody was naked.
yeah,
so
but it wasn't.
It might be the one.
No,
It wasn't her though, but I remember it was pretty. It was appealing.
It seemed, but Aunt Viv in this is playing a voodoo priestess. I guess.
Psyche, her name is.
Yeah, and it seems like she banged the white boy before.
It seemed like they had a history. Yeah, he they had some sort of falling out. I guess there's some relationship wise. And then he goes to. Doesn't he go get that potion, right?
Mm-hmm.
A potion to make Margaret fall in love with him. One will love, and then 2 drops would be hers.
One
be his.
One
forever.
she'll be your wife, and 2 she'll love you for life. 1 for wife, 2 for life, something like that. But
and then he gives her that the next time they see each other.
This is the part I was trying to rewatch. Right, I'm like, I saw it and I said, I only saw him give her 1 drop. So what the hell? What happened? I don't know.
Yeah, it looked like it looked like something bad was going to happen initially.
No, I'm saying when he poured it in the drink, because then he calls her to come look at the plans to try to win her money, but also try to drug her. And he puts the potion in the drink. I only saw him put 1 drop. I didn't see him put 2 drops. So what the fuck happened? And it's 1 drop.
The first time he gives her something, we don't see him put it in there. And then the second time, when later on when she shows up at his crib like Batman Forever style, you know, Nicole Kidman was thirsting for Batman. That was like that scene. And then they were in bed together. He goes and gives her an extra. Okay. He pretty much just he practically dumped the whole bottle in there.
Oh, okay, no,
not listening to the lady the instructions.
You do see him the first time put it in. When she comes to look at the plans, I saw him only do it 1 time. That's why I'm like, I guess I missed the second time when he poured it in, because I'm like, how did she go?
Yeah,
because he only did it once. But now, okay, so he does it again. But yeah, she comes into his house. She looks fine. She does look fine.
She just got her hair done and everything.
Yeah, she looks really good. The wind blowing on her, and they did my favorite thing where they put the blue gel screen on the lights, and they make it look nighttime. So
I like that. I like that like practical thing like that. It makes it look cool.
That's what I'm saying.
Probably a hot, sexy way to make the night look good.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I dig it. Instead of just pitch black. Yeah. I mean, that's just the schemes we've seen them use that.
If they were doing it today, it would be like real dark. It wouldn't be like this. They wouldn't film. They don't film like this anymore. I've noticed that a lot.
Yeah, they I don't know why they just get too practical.
They want to do everything dark and real life, and like
just
nobody
make it
wants.
stylish. It
Yeah.
doesn't have to make sense sometimes.
She looks really good in this episode. At this part, when she comes to bang him.
Oh, yeah,
looks really good.
that one was pretty. She was looking pretty good there.
Yeah, and she's like, she's like, I don't know what kind. This is like a dress to have sex. It's not even like like it's not a nightgown or anything. It's like a serious dress. Bad thing, they don't show anything. I don't know if that was, you know, the director.
No,
maybe the director ended up with her.
I don't know. We didn't see anything come out there. It was all pretty soft, tame stuff. But the way they did it, yeah, was well done.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, so we didn't mention like after he gave her those extra drops, she drinks it and then just starts convulsing, right? And then she looks like, and then we see that Aunt Viv is doing some voodoo magic shit, some Ade Dewey Dembala stuff, and the girls, yeah, frothing at the mouth or just shaking and uncontrollably in the bed in pain and stuff. So it seemed like yeah, she was doing something to her, and she ends up dying.
Yes.
Right in the bed. And we see her get buried at her funeral. Did they ever say they got married or not? I don't think so.
No,
right?
they did not get married. No.
Okay.
But she does. I'm just thinking like, but yeah. So the part where she looked, where she doesn't act well. There's a part where he kisses her before they. I think it was. Well, he gives her the one drop. Right? Yeah, he gave her the one drop and he kisses her before she comes to bang him. Right? Then she smacks him so horrible.
Oh yeah, she was the yeah. She didn't even put any effort into that slap. Yeah, it was like the most tame slap for what it was.
But I don't know if the
and she probably thought he spiked her drink too. Probably
maybe
she was acting.
But it seemed like after that, when she does the sex scenes, like she felt more comfortable or something because she starts really getting into this and acting very good.
Yeah, they needed to do another take on that one.
Yeah, but she does very good after that. That's like she did good in the beginning, decently, and then there's sometimes where she doesn't, you know. But anyway.
No, for the most part, yeah, it was good. Better than the fucking main guy. He sucked.
Yeah, he does suck. But she convulses.
Wow. What are you doing? Can I get you something?
She convulses and she's having like because he drugged her. He fucking went crazy, and that fucking friend comes because he's a doctor and he's like, "Did you give her anything?" Like he already knows, because I think this guy killed another bitch, right? No, sorry, another woman prior.
They kind of implied that they had in hand in the original owner of the land that he got the escrow for starting the episode, that she had like a heart attack, but the doctor guy was, didn't help her in time. Wink, wink.
Yeah.
Like they knew her or something, or they probably just killed her and make it look like a heart attack.
Yeah, that's why.
There's a past there that he's fucked over some people to get this land.
And then there's a part where
he's not a good person ultimately. Yeah, he gets himself comeuppance.
There's a part where he says to him, she can't die like the other woman. I can't have another death certificate. That's something like that. That's because he didn't marry her. Yeah. He didn't marry her. And then he goes and tries to kill Aunt Viv and blame her for it. And she's like, I only gave it to you. I only made it. You gave it to her. Like, don't blame me.
That's true. And she's right, because he didn't listen. He only gave her like 20 drops.
He gave her like the whole thing. I just looked at
practically the whole bottle.
Yeah. What a piece of.
And then another scene of horrible acting, him crying about the death of Margaret because he lost out on big time money from her, and just terrible performance here.
That scene was like
even like when, and then she just came out of the ground and she was flesh and bone and like nothing happened. And the whole time like she came out, she's like, oh, she was a lot better in this scene.
Yeah.
But this guy fucking sucked.
But she, that scene is like from Creepshow, the first one, when the daughter's getting drunk at the grave, and all of a sudden he comes out, and she goes, "Looks," but this one he couldn't do it, and she came out pretty well, not dirty. So I don't know how they did that, to be honest. Like, they just dug a hole, I guess, and covered it with like a tarp or something, and then she came out from that because her clothes aren't dirty, but her face is dirty, like has a little bit of whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but she was pretty good. I'm really surprised she hasn't done anything. He's worked a lot more. He's in Friday Night Tights. Friday Night Tights. Not Friday Night Tights. Friday Night Lights. She's in Friday Night Lights.
Oh, it's like I didn't know he was working with neurotic.
No, and Falling Down. So he's been acting in a couple of stuff, and he's still working. The last thing she was in 2002. But sadly, that's the way the cookie crumbles for female actresses. I've noticed they don't really have a long career unless they're married to a director.
There's very few exceptions, and we've seen that many times. Unless you're like Angelina Jolie or really great at your job, like Meryl Streep, that's usually the only times you can stay relevant. But if you're not any of those, and you're only dependent on your looks,
Natalie Portman,
a la Gal Gadot, you might not have a long career.
Or Jennifer Aniston for comedy. That's what she's like, the go-to comedy girl. A woman, not girl, but like most of the time they don't continue to use you in Hollywood. If you're a woman, they like use you and that's it. Like goodbye.
It's pretty harsh, but that's just the reality, and we're seeing it a lot more too.
I'll tell
recently.
you, normally like let's say, look, what's that girl's name from the Resident Evil?
Mila Jovovich.
Mila Jovovich, right? Okay, you look at her, you go, no, what about her? Well, yeah, she wouldn't be in Resident Evil if it wasn't for her husband.
I mean, her career has just been dependent on that franchise, and also, the luxury of being married to the director. So, I mean, she was married with Luc Besson too, and then she got a big break from Fifth Element.
Mm-hmm. And then, Multipass.
That's a great movie still. I love it. I like, Leon the Professional too. Those were some solid movies back in the time when Luc Besson used to make good movies.
I'm trying to figure out if Len Wiseman was married to Kate Beckinsale, was he not?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and that's how she did Underworld.
Movies.
Yes, yeah. I'm like trying to figure out his name. But anyway.
Well, they only have careers if you're married to a director, or Angelina Jolie or Meryl Streep,
or like,
that's about it.
It's hard. Like there's only a few like top like 5. I would say.
I'd say you're with James Gunn.
Portman, Meryl Streep, Natalie Portman. What's the other one? Anne Hathaway. Jennifer Aniston, and that's it. Those are like the big names.
J-Lo still gets some movies, I guess.
But they're not good. They're not, barely anything.
No.
But anyway, so she pops out of the grave and she kisses him, and then he's like, "Oh my God, you're alive!" And then he thinks that his friend made a bad mistake when he pronounced her dead. So the next morning he's like, "Are you okay?" She sets up the table she's like, "We're gonna fuck all day." Like she tells him that we're gonna have sex all day. Like that's all we're gonna do. And then
feed you breakfast so we can do it like 5 times today.
So he's like, okay. And then later he brings the doctor over. He says, "You made a mistake." And then he goes, "What are you talking about?" He goes, "She's not dead." And he goes, "Yeah, she was dead. She's dead. I know. I know these things." All of a sudden, she pops up from behind and chops his head off. And then he starts screaming.
Yeah,
and
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, you see her face, and I'm like, oh. And now she's having a great time doing this performance because she's being campy and funny. It's really, she kind of, and her movements, I don't know if somebody told her, remind me of Evil Dead, like a Deadite, like when she's not fully, because she's decent in this, and it's scary, and it's funny. She's a zombie. She's dead, and now she's deteriorating very rapidly, though. It's crazy because in the house she's okay. Well, in the daytime she was okay. Then later she's like, as you can see, he's crumbling, and then she starts chasing him because he runs away and shoots her like 5 times, and she's like, she jumps back up, and that's when she looks like a Deadite from Evil Dead, and she says something, and then he runs out of the house, and as he runs out, she's following him, and she's decaying rapidly. And then she's just, that's when the makeup effects. This guy does if he worked, he's great. This guy's great because the makeup effects here is truly disturbing and disgusting. So she basically like corners him, and he falls into the swamp into the quicksand, and she grabs him, and she's so strong, she just pulls him right out. And then literally from one scene to the next, then she's like bones, like just the meat is just falling off her face.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
And he managed to not die out of quicksand. I thought that was going to be the end. And
no, she pulls him out. Yeah.
She pulls him out, and she was holding a lantern, and it broke, and she ended up catching fire.
Yes, that's the part where it looked bad. That was the part where it looked bad when she was on fire. But you know why? It's because it's the guy in a costume, right? And it's flaming. Yeah. That's why it looks bad. But then it looks good again in the next scene after he throws her in. He pushes her like, no, fucking die. He sticks her with the stick to drop her in there, and she falls in, and what does she show up again after that?
Well, yeah, she's presumed, buried by the quicksand.
Mm-hmm.
He goes back to his crib and then chugs a bottle of Jameson.
And then she shows up. Yeah, she walks in.
And then she shows up.
Again. Then she's just a skeleton. There's a skeleton, basically, I think.
It very much reminds me of I think the 2 times they did an ending like that, where just a person that did somebody wrong comes back from the dead, like the Creep show, that first Creep show with Leslie Nielsen. So that's what it reminded me of, but it was cool. It was not bad, because it was another showcase of having that right vibe that would make a pretty decent Tales from the Crypt episode, campy and a kind of B-movie near the end of it, and then also having those moments of great post makeup effects on there. So that made it for me. I turned around on this episode, rewatching this again. Not too bad. It's still better than the last one for the first season. I think anything at that point will top that. It had a pretty good story and pretty good presentation. Just the main actor sucked. He was terrible.
We'll add one more funny part that happened in this episode. When he takes the poison. He starts taking the poison and drinking, and then they cut to her, and she's just a skeleton head, but she puts her head over her mouth like I can't believe he's taking poison.
Right.
And I was like, oh my god, that should be a shirt. I'm like, that's so good. That look right there is hilarious. And then so he dies, and then all of a sudden we see Aunt Viv, and it's so stereotypical. When they do these episodes, it's pretty fucked up, to be honest. When they do these voodoo episodes,
yeah.
It's pretty ridiculous. So they do one scene earlier, I think before they showed Aunt Viv, there was a black guy chasing a chicken in front of her house. Like he had a butcher knife and he was chasing down the chicken. Okay, so now they show.
It was just setting the mood. It was setting the mood for that scene.
Okay, now they see Aunt Viv's thing, and she's there, and he's on the bed. He's tied up, he wakes up. And he goes, I thought I was. And she goes, you were, but I always keep my promises. And then all of a sudden, the fucking skeleton woman comes in. Margaret, as a skeleton, comes in with the head of the fucking friend, and that was pretty good. Friend. How did they do that? That was pretty amazing, because you could see it didn't look like when she walks in with it doesn't look like a dummy, like a like a fake head. It looks like him.
I'll need to rewatch it to see.
Yeah, but anyway, so
see how it looked.
She walks in with him, and he starts screaming, and then she goes, like, we're gonna be together for life, and then she goes, and death, right? And she starts opening her mouth to kiss, and this is what I was talking about. I've never seen them do it so well, and I bet you if we had the HD version, we'd laugh because we could see, we could see things we couldn't see here. But her skeleton face, her mouth opens, and you can see there's a person underneath the skeleton mask, but he's sticking out his tongue. But they painted it black, so black that you can't see you can't make out any of the person's facial features inside. And I thought that was great, but I know for a fact if it was in HD, we'd be laughing right now because we'd be like, oh my God, you can see the lips and everything. That's ridiculous.
Oh yeah, however they did it was really well, really well done.
Really good. In general, this is the first episode, I believe, where the Crypt Keeper, besides the Arnold one, which is kind of, he's more joke. He's the Crypt Keeper we're gonna know forever. Like he's jokey. Because he says girls like that are pretty hard to dig up.
Yeah, he has some good lines, and
he's wearing glasses, sunglasses.
He's got like sunglasses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is
the cool Crypt Keeper.
This is the one we're gonna keep going now. He's like on vacation. It's hilarious. But yes, this is a great episode till death. I'm surprised I like it I think when I saw it as a kid I liked it. I think watching it older I didn't like it. You know, like I was like, oh, it's boring, right? But now rewatching it for this, you have to pick up on different things. And
yeah, that's true. And that's what I didn't get the first time. I partially wasn't. I'll be honest, I wasn't fully paying attention to the episode when I originally watched it. But yeah, I think just because I gave it negative gripes about it, just
and
because
the actor sucks. The
same,
lead actor.
It was the same kind of concept before. But yeah that one was. I'm willing to overlook it. I think there's a lot to be appreciated here.
Yeah.
I think some of the acting is pretty solid. The setup of the shots are really well done, and the makeup is done done. It's a competent episode.
Yeah.
I just think the only thing that really dragged it down was the main actor.
Yeah. I think she was good. I think she was having fun. That's the best part.
It seemed like she had a lot more fun when she's in the
makeup.
Dead.
Yeah, when she was in the makeup. Yeah, I think so too. And then in the sex scene, I think she was like, oh yes. Maybe she was into him. I don't know. But great. I like this episode a lot. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. I think it's one of the better episodes of the series, to be honest. It goes I had 4 out of 5. I think it's up there with, I don't know what I gave Cutting Cards. I know Dead Right was one of my favorites. I put it up there with Dead Right this season. These two are like two. They're up there. Yeah.
I mean, like I mentioned, season 2 is packed full of pretty solid episodes. So that's why I love this season the most. That's why I started off with. So I'm gonna give it the same 4 out of 5. Very solid episode. Yeah. Very, very solid.
I highly enjoy this episode. Yeah.
Yeah. So what do we got in store for the next one? What's the next episode we got here? Let me see.
The next one's called Three's a Crowd. It's with the guy who looks like Jim Belushi. That's not Jim Belushi.
Oh, this is the one I talked to you about. That
yes. I have not seen this
saying
one.
I did enjoy this episode a lot, and I'm curious to see how I feel about it when I rewatch it again.
I have not seen this in a while. The last time I saw it was when I bought the DVDs. Even when rewatching, like I rewatched this not that maybe a few months ago.
Yeah,
I had skipped this one. Like my mind, it was in the background, or I just fell asleep. I don't know. Whenever I watched it, but I want to say one thing. The lead actor in this, who's the boyfriend or the husband that thinks they're cheating, he is the only movie I really know him from is Death Wish Part 3, where he's the villain, the most despicable villain ever. I saw that Death Wish 3 when I was a kid, which you shouldn't see it. You should not see it as a kid. But I remember the one scene is when Maria Sirtis, I think that's her name. Is that her name from Star Trek The Next Generation? Yes, she played I'm not sure. Shit, my brain is fried. Oh, number 1. She was in love with number 1. Counselor Troy. Oh, wow. That was too long. That took way too long. My memory that took way too long. Yeah. But Deanna Troy. She's a Betazoid. Wow, thank God. My brain's working. Okay, so she was in Death Wish 3. She's a Greek woman. In Death Wish 3, she's playing a Mexican woman, and she gets raped. But as a kid, I didn't care about any of those things. I just wanted to see her boobs. And that's what I saw. Raped. While she got raped, they threw her on a bed in the parking lot. I'm like, where'd they get the bed? But they threw her on a bed. And then you just see...
At least they're considerate to get a bed.
Her breasts, they jiggle. And I was like, my God!
Jeff Goldblum was in one of the Death Wish movies, right? In the first one?
I think so.
Remember he said, "Goddamn rich."
Bitch,
just that famous famous sound effect Opie and Anthony used to use.
Yes, I didn't know it was. Didn't know that was Jeff Goldblum when I would hear that. You know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I saw the original clip. It's like, oh shit, Jeff Goldblum.
Yeah, that's
he said that.
I think, yeah. But I don't.
I only know this main guy that's in the next episode. I only know him from. He was in a James Bond movie with Sean Connery. Never Say Never Again. I remember he was in that one. but I wasn't familiar of the other roles he was in. But this guy's been around. I mean, unlike this guy in this episode we watched today, this guy helps carry the episode. His performance is what makes what I thought made the episode pretty good. So I look forward to talking with you about that one. That one's gonna be good. Three's a Crowd is one of my favorite ones too from this season.
Okay, I gotta watch that. We'll see.
But I'll see if my opinion changes when I watch it again. But I remember liking it a lot.
The one I don't like in this season the most is two of them. The one with the real estate guy.
Oh God.
And then
that one I kind of liked. That one I kind of liked oddly.
And the one with Patricia Arquette.
Oh yeah,
they just had that. They just did that. They just kept her nipple. It was so boring and annoying. And then
it wasn't that great.
Yeah.
But it wasn't that great. If you want to watch an alternative version of that episode, just watch Pearl.
Well, see, I gotta watch Pearl. I didn't see Pearl. I saw the prequel or the first movie, XXX.
So yeah, it's in that. It's a similar. It reminded me of that movie when I watched it. The movie's better than this, so that's any indication. But I look forward to that one.
All right.
Yeah, the Judy or Not Yourself. That one was my least favorite episode of this season. I think I told you about that one.
Yeah. Well.
I look forward to it though.
Oh, I know which one you like too. In this is good when they have Bobcats is a good episode, and then there's another one with the black guy and his son is really his nephew.
That one was fucked up, but it was good.
That was good. But so that's this episode of Tales from the Crypt. Thank you for of Creeps of the Crypt. Thanks for joining us for this episode. Reminder: you can go check out our merch. We have a really cool shirt from Tales from the Crypt on there, or inspired by Tales from the Crypt, I should say. We have a really cool shirt inspired by Tales from the Crypt on our merch store. It is just go to ghostcrusadersmerch.com and check it out. You'll find it. It'll be on one of the first shirts up there. If not, look up American Creeps, and you'll find it.
Are there any codes they can use?
If you use Crusades13 at checkout, you'll get 13% off on your total purchases. But if you add Honey, which Honey really should consider sponsoring us, if you add Honey to your extensions on your browser, it'll find multiple different promo codes that I've made throughout the history of the website. So I think actually the website in the top actually tells you which their codes to use anyway. So there you have it. But if you use Crusades 13, you can save 13% off at checkout for your merchandise. And I've seen it's been redeemed 28 times. So that's the most popular code to use. So there you go. Anyway, like I said, thank you for joining us on this episode, and we will talk to you guys next time. Peace.